feelings as well.
I hope they do know that. Obviously, the president has spoken warmly of our respect for Israel, and our love for the Israeli people and our support for them in this terrible, terrible time. But I hope they know that millions and millions and millions of Americans feel the same way. That we know Israel is our strongest ally, our best friend in the region, and we believe deeply in the right of Israeli citizens to live in peace and security and to enjoy statehood that they deserve, that they certainly require. And there's a strong sentiment here in the United States for making sure that Israel has the support that it needs, again, in this dreadful, dreadful moment.
When can we start to expect military aid from the United States to arrive?
The first tranche of military assistance is already on its way to Israel. It won't be taking very long to get there. I couldn't give you a date certain. And we also want to be careful about describing in too much detail what's going and when it's arriving, because we don't want to violate Israeli operational security. But the first tranche is on its way, and I have every expectation that there will be additional tranches. We're going to stay in touch with our Israeli counterparts literally every day to make sure that we have a good sense of what they need, and then we'll be making sure that we can get it to them as quickly as possible.
Can you explain the role of the aircraft carrier Gerald Ford?
The main reason that the president moved the aircraft carrier, the Gerald R. Ford, and the strike group into the Eastern Mediterranean was really reassurance in terms of how seriously we take our national security interests in the region and our willingness to protect and defend those national security interests, but also one of deterrence to any other actor, be that actor a terrorist group like Hezbollah, or be that actor a nation state like Iran. This is not the time to try to take advantage of what Hamas has done and play out or get involved or broaden or escalate the conflict inside Israel. This is not the time.
You mentioned citizens, the civilians taken hostage, kidnapped by the Hamas, including Americans probably. Does this require Israel to be extra careful in its attacks in Gaza? Should Israel take that into consideration?
I won't speak for Israeli operations or their decisions. That's really more appropriate for them to speak to. But look, I mean, this isn't like any other wrongful detention of individuals. It is hostage-taking. Clearly was part of Hamas's plan. We don't know how many they have exactly, and we don't know exactly where they are. And it's an active scene of conflict, so any recovery efforts are going to be deeply complicated by the fact that it's a war zone right now. We understand that. We know the Israelis understand that. We have offered expertise from the United States for hostage recovery to the Israelis, and we're in conversations with them about what that might look like.
The U.S. made no mention so far of the need for calm, for restraint. Does Israel have a carte blanche, a free hand to do whatever it wants in its operation in Gaza?
Look, right now, you don't have to look any further than the images and the scenes of horror to realize that there's a very acute need for Israel to act in defense of itself. And they are acting aggressively, and I think, again, given the threat that they were under over the weekend, I think that's perfectly understandable. We know that we share common values and interests with Israel, democratic institutions, the respect for the rule of law and for the law of war, and you know, that's something that helps bind our two countries. Unlike Hamas, who clearly not only has no respect for civilian life, but is actively going out and terrorizing that life and taking that life away in the most barbaric way possible.
Mark Kirby, thank you so much.
My pleasure.